Hello.
Hello.
Hi, ladies.
Excellent. So, hello everyone, and let's aim to start our call on time so that we can cover everything. A lot of excitement stuff in this call. Women in Streaming Media is a global network, and because of the time zone difference, not all members can join call together simultaneously. So that's why we always record the call and make it available on our website so that members can watch it at their convenience, regardless of time zone. So welcome everyone on the Ally of the Month call. We are really excited to have you. We are really excited to have you on this call. Quick heads up, I'm on my work trip and currently in the public area, so might be a little noisy. So sorry about that in advance. And today's call is an opportunity for us to come together, share experiences, and continue our collective efforts towards the creating more inclusive industry space for women. So we have an exciting agenda planned for today, which includes a quick overview of women in streaming media and our allyship program, followed by a quick introduction to Allyship team, who is constantly working on connecting the allies with us. Then Lisa will introduce our guest, Ally of the Month. We will follow that with an amazing AMA session on how to be a good ally at industry events. We have pre-received questions from our members, but don't hesitate to ask any questions if you find some interesting topic, or if you want to ask anything during the call using the chat window. And lastly, I will share the information on our upcoming event details. So once again, thank you everyone for joining today's call and taking this step to make a difference and joining our network. So let's make this call meaningful and inspiring experience for everyone who is involved. And let's get started. So quickly about myself. Around 20 years of experience, I have deeply involved into the streaming media industry. It's been really exciting roller coaster of experiences, focusing on launching, expanding, and nurturing the OTT services. I have worked on the different types of VOD platforms, such as TVOD, SVOD, AVOD, or FreeVOD. Each bring its own set of challenges and rewards. Currently, I work as an OTT consultant, balancing family life as a mom and wife. I'm particularly enthusiastic about diversity, equity, and inclusion. At Women in Streaming Media, I lead the Allyship program. Now I'll pass the floor to Lisa for her introduction, followed by Leto and her introduction. Lisa, you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry about that. My name is Lisa Craig, and my background is in product and program management, and on the IT side. So I have recently worked at Warner Brothers Discovery, and I led the media supply chain product and program management team for all of the applications, getting the content from the rights, the metadata, the promotions, the commercials, all the way through to the platforms for HBO Max and all of the linear channels for HBO, Cartoon Network, CNN, etc. So that's my experience. And I'm currently in transition, but I'm taking the time to work on the Allyship team and a couple of other volunteer things as well. Leto?
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Lito Baksevanaki. I come from the software engineering sector. Like, I have more than 20 years of experience in software engineering in several areas. But it's only the last 2 years that I work as an engineering manager in a company that is in the video streaming industry. And this is BitMovin, a company that enables businesses to deliver video content. I am a member of Women in Streaming Media for, I think, around 2 years, and I'm really happy that I can contribute somehow in this program, and really excited that we have Pablo today with us in this session. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lisa and Leto, for introducing yourself. Since we have always getting new members, let me quickly introduce everyone to Women in Streaming Media Network and our Allyship program. I promise I will not take much time. Everyone is excited to hear from JP. So as a global networking organization, our mission is to increase diversity and give more visibility to women leaders within the streaming media industry. Women in Streaming Media bridges the gap for women in streaming media industry, driving participation, leadership through connections, Allyship program, and mentorship. Our mentorship program is award-winning mentorship program. Our Allyship program aims to drive a meaningful change by creating awareness, understanding the privilege, or just practicing allyship with the daily small actions. We want male advocates to get involved and set up an example for others by amplifying the women voices, supporting women's representation, creating an inclusive space for women in the streaming media industry. In the beginning of this year, January 2024, we introduced our Allyship program designed to bring together allies from the streaming media industry sector. This initiative includes identifying the potential leaders, engaging conversations with them, organizing the Ally of the Month every month, and fostering the constant communication on the same lines. Our program offers a structure for activities such as AMA session, skill workshop, and knowledge sharing workshop, everything aimed at helping women in streaming media move more forward within the industry. Okay, all right. I think wait is over. Lisa, let's start with the Ally of the Month introduction.
Absolutely. So we are very fortunate today to have an amazing male ally that comes to us from Montevideo, Uruguay, which we talked a little bit about earlier. Juan Pablo Saibene, or JP, as he's commonly referred, is the founder and CEO of Qualabs, a company that provides software engineering services for video tech, media and entertainment, and new media. With more than 15 years of experience in media technology, he combines his expertise in engineering and entrepreneurial business background to lead a team of 100 talented professionals who share his passion for innovation and collaboration. At Qualabs, their mission is clear. They're on a quest to revolutionize the way software engineering teams collaborate, taking media tech to new heights. They work with esteemed clients across the US and Europe, delivering cutting-edge solutions in areas like streaming, codecs, cybersecurity, advertising, CDN, broadcasting, monitoring, subscriber management systems, and the preferred software development partner in video tech.
Hey, sorry, Lisa, to interrupt you. You need to, I think, present the slides. We're not able to see the slides.
Oh, you're not able to see them?
We're able to
Okay.
see, but the only first slide. I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, no, that's good because I am, I can see it on my screen as I'm presenting, but okay, let me try and, thank you. Let me stop sharing and let me try that again because I want everybody to see the slides.
Absolutely. Some amazing stuff on slides.
Maybe I'll try and share my screen. I downloaded the content, so apologies. Okay, are you seeing anything now? Let me advance
You can
it.
see the slide, you just need to present it.
Okay. Oh.
Technology glitches, something always.
Glitches. Yes. Okay. Are we seeing the next slide?
No, you can just see the first slide.
How about now?
Yeah, we can see the first slide now. So you might need to go to fifth slide. Yeah.
Okay. All right, can you see JP? Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so we talked about the Qualabs and apologize. So thank you for stopping me there. Okay, so JP is also deeply involved as the organizer of the Montevideo tech community, where they foster collaboration and the spread of knowledge across the video tech professionals worldwide. Please go and check out them online via their website or LinkedIn. There's a wealth of information, including past keynote presentations, and they just came off of their annual Montevideo Tech Summer Camp. What an absolutely amazing technical village that they've created and empowered. We will post the links to those sites and LinkedIn afterwards on the Allyship page. In addition to his professional endeavors and that he's deeply committed to education and entrepreneurship as drivers of social impact. With that, JP has been a college lecturer, an MBA tutor, business plan mentor, and he served as a board member of various organizations that promote entrepreneurial skills, spirit, values among children and youth. His belief is that entrepreneurship is not only a way of creating value, but also a way of inspiring others to pursue their dreams and make a positive difference in the world. Just amazing. Okay, so personally, he is a family man that finds immense joy in spending time with his wife and 2 children. They have a small ranch in the countryside of Punta del Este, just a few hours of Montevideo. So you can see it on the picture there, and his beautiful children. Lots to be proud of there. Okay, he is co-owner of Tres Manos Winery in Uruguay, where they feature an amazing red Tennant wine. I hope to try some of that soon. I'll just have to find out if that is available in the US or not. Mate. Mate is a big deal in South America. If you've never tried it, it's an aromatic, caffeine-rich herbal-infused drink. Much like Coffee Talk session in the US, JP's hosted Mate Talks on behalf of the Montevideo Tech Village. If you're interested in how to make a proper mate, JP has created a LinkedIn post on how to do just that, and we'll post that as well. And lastly, if everything else wasn't enough, JP recently took up golf, where he has discovered the joys and the sorrows of playing just that. So we would like to welcome, so give him a round of applause for being our Women in Streaming Media Ally of the Month. And so next he's going to tell us what allyship means to him.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction. It's I would say it sounds way better than it actually is. So
I don't think so.
Thank you, Lisa, for putting all that together. I'm very honored and humbled to be here, to be honest. It's kind of awkward for me that to be on the spotlight. Well, I think you women should be on the spotlight if we want to actually create a space with that fosters more inclusiveness for you. So I'm happy to be here and to collaborate in any way I can. To be honest, I think the first thing that strikes me is when you ask me about the allyship is actually the awareness of or the recognizing that there are inequalities that probably I have I've had some opportunities and that have been given to me, not by the fact that I did anything in special, but just by the fact that I was born white, male, and professional, and so stuff that I actually didn't do anything to deserve them. So I think the least I can do is to leverage that privilege to try to promote a more inclusive and collaborative space. In practice, it actually means to be a supporter and an advocate and trying to amplify women's voices, or being a mentor, or also as a leader in my company with a policy making or an advocacy. I've seen in the recent years a lot of I think this topic is now has been on the table for a long time already. Like probably 5 or 10 years back, it wasn't, but yet there's a lot of unconscious bias in the way we think about it, and maybe we don't even realize about all the inequalities or non-inclusive spaces. So I think I just need to be responsible and accountable and aware that we're all in this kind of journey of learning and understanding on how to create a better environment for everyone. Not only because it's more fair, but also I think there's a very positive impact for the community, for the industry, and for our businesses if we have more diverse and inclusive teams. I do think there's a positive impact for the business too. So it's a real win-win situation.
Okay, well, great. We are going to just go ahead and jump right into some questions. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second so we can see more of you. Okay. All right. So we'll start off with just coming fresh off of NAB. Would you mind sharing some insights of important trends that women should know within the industry?
Sure. So the maybe the first thing that comes to my mind is that it's still mostly men event. Anyone walking around the alleys knows that. I don't have the exact numbers, but one would say 80-90% of the attendance is men, like just by looking around. I don't think we need to do the math. And I think the trend that we saw last year is still here. Companies are really looking mostly in OTT and streaming, which is the most of my space on the West Hall. Companies are really looking on how to lower costs and how to. It's not 2021 anymore, and I think it might stay like that for a couple more years. So the first thing that I would be aware is that bringing new revenue streams sounds great, but to be honest, companies now are looking for short-term results, and usually the short-term bottom line results are achieved by lowering costs. In particular, I was struck about how many companies are looking for new ways to do the same, but in a cheaper way. And that could be including more interoperability, like leveraging new standards or with a more operational focus on the lowering the costs. Also being more aware of lowering the cost for undifferentiated services. If it's just compute or egress or traffic on the web, let's use the cheapest. Of course, it needs to be reliable, scalable, resilient, but like the commoditized, there are some commodities now like encoding or egress or compute, maybe for like at least in a basic tier. I know there are some differentiated versions of it, of course, but that companies are looking for, okay, let's be cost aware. But I know also cost savings can take you that long, so far. So I think we need to be very conscious, and in particular, in the past year there were many layoffs. So maybe a trend would be to try to be active and listen to or read on our networks, see who's looking for an opportunity, who's out of a job, and how we can help them get a new job. And in particular with women, knowing that there's a lot of bias in the industry, and that it is not just an opinion, but we all know that women need to be better than men to get the same role. That's been studied many times already. So maybe that's a trend in the industry. Not sure if that's from NAB in particular, because I didn't hear of many stories about it, but it's definitely a trend in our industry.
Okay, well, thank you. That's a lot to take in, and it's some good information. Yeah, we're definitely seeing, it's funny because I went to a session recently with women, and something came up about if you're in technology, it's not if you're going to get laid off, it's when you're going to get laid off. So we're definitely seeing some of those. Okay, did you get an opportunity while you were there to attend any of the Women in Streaming Media sessions? Because there were a few. And if so, can you just tell us about your experience around those?
So I know of two, one that Victoria was moderating, and the other one that was on sports, that actually was all women, I think. Those are the two I know, because I spoke to Olga about that one too. Maybe I'm missing some. Actually, I didn't attend any sessions, and because unfortunately, well, or fortunately, I don't know. NAB and IBC for us, it's mostly meetings. We don't go to any sessions. We do attend to panels and sessions during other events like My High Video or DMAX, like the most technical kind of conferences. But so unfortunately, I cannot share more about that than what I said.
Okay. That's great. So kind of going off of what you said earlier about, NAB having the gender imbalance, about 80 to 90% men. And I've been to NAB many times, and I've definitely seen that imbalance myself. Have you seen any, having gone this year, is that about the same of what you've seen in years past? Do you think that there's being any movement on getting more women to participate in NAB?
So I think if one looks at like in maybe many years back, if I go to 2018 or 19, one sees a trend. Probably the NABs in 6-7 years back were also older people, mostly older men, white men. That would be like 90% of the public. Now, I think there's been a shift in the attendance. I don't have the exact numbers, so this is more like a feeling and not statistics. I want to be super honest about it. But I do still think women are a minority, and I do think there are opportunities or things we could do as an industry. I know that, for instance, it happens to us. Like well, Mika is here in the call, and she just got the role of head of growth, but previously she was in marketing, so she wasn't in sales, so it didn't make any sense for her to attend. So for us, it means that we need to make decisions on having women in those roles and being aware of that. But also, I think there's stuff in the logistics in these kind of events that maybe we could do stuff about, like maybe as an industry for NAB or IBC, make hotel room reservations cheaper for women if we want to foster that, and maybe it is that the rest of us has to pay higher for that, like if we really want to make a change. Because and that's just one idea that came to my mind, but I can imagine that there are more things we could do to foster that, because I still think there's a big imbalance.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. Maybe women could get maybe complimentary access to, the show. I'm sure the hotel thing would be a little different, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, or it could be for the sessions too. Like one of the problems with the sessions is that you have to pay a separate ticket to attend the sessions.
Right.
But maybe that would be a way to foster it. Right.
That's a good idea. Maybe even some women centered, events as well, social events.
Well, the social event you hosted, so we experienced that during IBC with Women in Streaming Media. Michelle, that was in our team, and it was her first event. Actually, she was really like afraid of what was going to be her first IBC, what was it going to be like. And she had this feeling like, this is my first IBC. Probably everyone here has been to or attended several shows already. And of course, there are people in the industry who have attended 20 or 30 NABs or IBCs already. But actually participating in the Women's Streaming Media breakfast, getting to know that there were others like her that were in her first IBC or second, that had the same 3 years, or actually it helped her so much that I can imagine we could even do that and virtually before the event. So beforehand, because we saw such a change before and after the breakfast in her, the way she felt, because she actually, she knew names, she knew faces, she knew, oh, I'm gonna see this colleague in this booth, and I know that we're going through the same kind of process. So I can imagine that a way to that there could be something we could do as a community to help the newcomers to the shows, but in particular women coming to the show for the first time, and maybe doing some virtual instances, some mentoring, because I don't know if you recall your first experience at the show, but my first time was really overwhelming. Like, I got there and all the booths and all the people coming in, everyone rushing at 10 a.m. getting in. And it was overwhelming, and took me some time to adapt, to get to know the floor. Now I'm used to it, but maybe it would be good to have a sort of a onboarding to the show.
Yeah,
some way.
I think that's a great idea, because there is a lot to see and a lot to do and a lot to cover. Okay, JP, how do you think men can actively listen to and support women in streaming media during industry events like NAB or IBC?
Well, I think I can connect to actually this question Chas posted here. Like, women are being asked if they're technically enough to answer the questions, and that's something I hear all the time. Like, it's particular with women that don't come from an engineering background. So maybe it's too simple, but I think the first tip for me would be aware of it. Like, because sometimes it's not that you're speaking on top of someone, but maybe they're not speaking at all. Maybe you could start by just realizing that if you don't ask, they won't speak. So in my experience, it would be like, oh, okay, Lisa, what do you have an opinion on this? Do you have any thoughts on this? So that's been my opinion. I don't know how it's been for you in the past, and maybe actually it's for me to ask to you, and how we could actually be active listeners, to be honest. But at least that's what I try to do.
Okay, I love that. Okay, and we heard, your full, bio earlier, and we know that you're very well established in the industry and you've accomplished a lot. But how do you feel like you're using your platform to ensure gender diversity at these conferences for panels and for industry events?
Well, in particular, I've been for DMAX in the past probably 3 or 4 years. I've been in the committee for selecting talks, and there's definitely and also this year I was part of the SBTA segments committee, and there's a subjective diversity metric, because it's really it's very difficult to have an objective metric on what diversity is, but at least there is a subjective metrics on is the speaker coming in gonna add diversity to what we have, and diversity in the case of SBTA wasn't only gender. It could be because you're coming from a different region in the world, and you could bring a cultural diversity. Because we know that when we go to DMAX and we hear what's going on in India, it is tremendous scale, very large scale, but a very different context. So I think diversity comes not only in that case from gender, but also from from different cultural aspects, different backgrounds, different size of companies. So that's what I'm trying to use my platform for. But actually, I'd like to use it more. So in particular in LinkedIn, that I'm quite active. I was surprised because I shared about this panel, and I was checking the statistics on the reactions, and usually my posts are reacted 60% by men, 40% by women. That's my stats if I go to my past 10 or 12 posts. But the post about me participating in this panel was 75% women reacting.
Wow.
So is it that women were more aware of it? Or is it that just men are not reacting to a post that's talking about women in streaming media? I was surprised. Like I was really surprised about that trend, because it was and it's public. You can go and see the likes on my LinkedIn post. So this is public information. You can check it. We were analyzing it with Mika, and we were like, it's weird. And actually now I wanna try posting about these again more often and see if there's a trend, or if this was an exception. I cannot make conclusions by one post, but I must be honest, I was surprised. There are people that react to my posts all the time, and this time they didn't. Maybe they didn't see it, but I admit I was surprised.
Yeah, we'll have to follow that with you then along that journey. I have personally have awareness of this one. I've noticed hesitation from women wanting to speak at industry events. What do you think are the biggest barriers women face in public speaking in the streaming industry?
I know Mika is laughing here because we talk about it all the time. Because she helps everyone. She helps find speakers all the time at Women's Stream Media. She encourages everyone at Qualabs to post on LinkedIn, not even be a public speaker, maybe post on their networks, but she doesn't. And I'm just using her as an example, but I think because in average, if you find a man and a woman with a probably similar experience, similar skill set, similar background, women tend to think like, it's not enough, I don't have that much experience. How much do I know about these, like to be in a good position actually to go and speak about it? So I think we really need to encourage it, because it's not that they're not given the opportunity, it's because they feel they are less prepared. That's been my experience. Like if you compare two people with the same experience, the man is gonna say, yeah, I'll go for it, and the woman's gonna be like, nah, I'm not ready yet, give me some more time. You're never ready. You're never ready for a first sales call. You're never ready for a first trade show. You're never ready for a first LinkedIn post. You're never ready for anything until you do it. But I do see that.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on that we overthink everything, just in stereotype in general. But what suggestions would you have on how we could, create a more supportive environment for women to submit their proposals, to participate on the panels at these conferences?
Well, I think you're already doing one thing, and it is that by the fact that we're aware, and if we see a panel that it's all men, we start saying, hey, we need to have more diversity in this panel. Just by the fact that we're actively looking for someone to speak at that panel, I think we're encouraging more women to jump in, because we're saying we need to find a speaker for, I don't know, OTT sports, or for encoding, or for cloud, or whatever. That's what the first that comes to my mind. Probably, I think it is most on the encouragement. I don't think the women I know actually lack the communication skills or message to share. It's just the encouragement. So I don't think they need any training or specific training. It's just like, go do it.
So on the flip side of that, we do have a question in the chat that I wanted to just bring up. So I'm just going to read it. As a woman attending trade shows, I often get asked if I'm technical enough to answer questions. How do we start changing these outdated attitudes?
Oof. Yeah. And yeah, I see that a lot. I used to see that more like in broadcast than I see that in the West Hall now, thankfully. And I think that's that comes with also a bias that it's only the technical or engineering aspect of the conversation that is relevant. And actually, there's way more than just the technical aspect here. Because if it were only for technical enough to answer something, so only people with 30 years of experience in the industry wouldn't attend these events. So it would not only be discriminating women with this question, but also the newcomers, the new generations. Actually, I don't know why they even asked that, to be honest. I really don't. Probably the best I've seen it a couple times. Probably the best would be to actually ask them like, why does it matter? Like, why do you think I'm not going to be technical enough? Probably expose the question back to the person asking. Maybe that helps them be more aware of their bias.
It would be interesting to see if that same question was asked to a man.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And yeah, but maybe it is. I've seen some bad behaviors being exposed and helping people reflect about it in the moment. So maybe they feel somehow uncomfortable, but sometimes it is the way. Like, would you ask this to someone else? And maybe they are aware of it. Probably it is unconscious bias. I don't think it is for any bad reasons, just that they don't realize.
Okay, while we certainly appreciate all that you're doing for women's allyship, it is important to get other men involved in the effort too. What strategies can men employ to amplify the voices of women in streaming media during discussions or presentations?
Okay, get it. Probably so in my specific case, I think it helped me that during my high, Victoria came up and she presented about women's streaming media to the audience. She was there with a booth, and she also said, if you want to be part of this allyship, come to the booth and talk to me. And when I came and asked, she had a very clear way on how I could help. So I probably that's the right path to give to know how we can help. So maybe we as a community need to be very clear on this is how we could help this community, finding speakers. Actually, when we don't see enough women in a conference, actually, and with a lineup, go and ask the producers. And so I think it would also help me if I had very clear ways to help. Like, how can I? So maybe that's a question from me to you. Like, how, on a very practical approach, besides being aware and being conscious about these, how can I help? And I think if I have 3 or 4 ways to actually be helpful, that would help me be helpful.
Okay, and then kind of building from the last question that we got from the chat, what ways can men challenge biases and stereotypes that may arise during the events? So just like in the case with that question, are you technical enough? You know, some of those, biases that come from these big, traditionally male-focused events.
Yeah, I think I'll keep my. Yeah, the first that comes to my mind here is actually to expose the bias, at least ask about it. Like, why do you ask? Like, why do you have to make a difference? And also try to be to actually help the other one be aware of it. At least if it was a bias or not, just actually they had the real question or they really wondered. I think that would help.
So it's important that, that men understand, what we as women go through and why we're, promoting the allyship team and allyship across the industry as well. What do you think could be done to help educate other men? Like you obviously have, taken that upon yourself, but how can we help educate other men on this topic?
Well, I think these allyship programs helps a lot. So before these, I had heard probably 2 or 3 times from different women in the industry how there were other allies, maybe not with a structured program, but they were actual allies like Alex Zambelli. His name always came up. Everyone in the industry would say that his behavior was what they expected. So it actually helped me some time ago to have like a role model on what was expected. And actually, I would go and ask him, like, what would you do in this situation? How is it that you're helping? So he wasn't, maybe he's not I'm not sure if he's part of this allyship program or not, but to me, he's an ally in his behavior. So he's like a role model on what to expect. And I think the exposure you're giving on recognizing what being a good ally is for you and how it impacts you positively, it's also a way to encourage men. But I think in the end, it's each of us have to connect and understand that it's not just that we're all equal and we all have the same opportunities. It's some sort of a click or insight that you get at some point, like, oh, I do have biases and I do have privileges. I don't know how to do that besides actually continue to expose it and make everyone aware of it.
So do you feel like that, making concrete steps, how could we make those concrete steps for people to, build upon this initiative and not just be in the moment with, with one particular event?
I think probably the best would be, or the best answer would be a community. It could be a Slack community. It could be like, but make a community that everyone is actually part of, because that's what I see in, I don't know, other communities like Video Dev or SBTA or DMAX. It's like the fact that you do it all the like on a very repetitive or constant way. So we are going to create a movement way beyond just a few of us pushing. Or a few of you, because actually you're the ones actually pushing these really hard. And in particular to me, that's a personal feeling. And given that women's streaming media is a global community and that there are different cultures in the community, I think to me, it would help me a lot if I had like someone to ask or to know very specifically what your expectations are on how we don't overstep or how we don't. For instance, I know you had an ally of the month in March, and I had this conversation with Dipali, like in Uruguay, having a man being exposed as ally of the month, given on with a cultural aspect and how feminism and Uruguay, that would be really weird. probably I would have been criticized on social media if I were exposed as ally of the month. But probably in the US it's totally different. So I wouldn't know how to, because there are also cultural barriers on what your expectations could be, or what the expectations could be. For instance, in Uruguay. In Uruguay, the expectation is that men do nothing in March, but the typical answer would be just shut up and listen. That would be the typical quote. And I see Agus and Mika saying yes. Like that would be the expected behavior of men in March. But probably your expectation is totally different. And you had Stefan come to this panel, and actually probably that was the way for him to foster this allyship. So I think if I had clear expectations on how to behave and how to help, given the multicultural environment of women's streaming media, that would help us a lot.
Okay. So,
but again, I don't want to put that on you. I want to put it on me. So I'm going to come and ask. I think it is on me, not on you. So what I need to do is come to you, Lisa, or come to you, Dipali, or you, Leto, and say, how can I help? But just giving you some context that when I come with that question, it is because we come from different cultures, and probably what's okay in one place is not going to be the okay in some other place.
okay, so how can we have, for women who want to give feedback, how can we create that safe environment? Just like you said, like in your cultural situation, that would not have been a popular thing. So how do we have that environment where women can give the feedback and that be acceptable and well received?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is like building this relationship or trust, because I think when there's actually trust built, it's when you feel there's a communication channel you can use to ask or give feedback. So in my case, I'm super open to any feedback because I know it's going to be constructive. I do personally like feedback. When I give feedback, I'd rather give it on how I felt about something and not how something should or shouldn't be. So it's not that this is right or wrong, but how it made me feel. Maybe that would help. But in the end, I think we need to build a community in which everyone is on the same page, that we're all trying to build a more inclusive and diverse environment. So if there's something you don't like, just come and tell it, come and mention it, but know that the intention is to build a better environment for everyone.
Okay, I'm going to give one last question, and then we'll give an opportunity if anybody wants to put anything in the chat. Later, we'll ask those questions from the chat, so I'll do that. But the last question is, JP, how would you recommend that we as a women in streaming media get more men involved, like yourself? Like the willingness to participate and be involved in these initiatives?
Well, I think you could ask us as allies to bring in more friends. That would be, I think, recommendations or like the word of mouth is usually the best way. I would definitely create a space or a community where we can help, and again have very clear challenges. I think if you ask someone for a favor, they're actually going to like you more. So I would ask these men favors, like, can you help us find a speaker? Can you mentor someone because it's her first event? Can you help someone in these women in the community to I don't know, get a referral for an opportunity, I would actually go and ask for favors. I think I would actually ask. You already have to know.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you. So
Thanks,
I'm
Lily.
going to open it up for questions.
Okay, we had a couple of questions. The first one was already discussed. So the second one, I think it's referring to NAB. And the question is, do we think having the event over a weekend is a bit of a hindrance? Like, I guess not too inclusive. That would be the question.
That's a good question. I really don't know because we're used to travel anyway, and like we need to travel from Uruguay to the US or to Europe to go to the events. So it's going to take us one more day to get there and one more day to come back. Not sure, but probably specifically for those who have a family that they need to take care of, probably it impacts them. I know that some people have decided to fly in on Monday and Tuesday, but not on the weekend, because in the end it impacts all their life. So probably it is. Probably Tuesday to Thursday event would be more inclusive than just Sunday. And I also think there are some events that are probably less inclusive, because if the after party event is about going to drink beers, I'm not sure if that's the situation in which a woman is going to feel the most comfortable approaching someone else and what they might think of it. Or maybe if they, in their culture, if they have a partner and they go drinking, having some drinks with men they don't know, maybe that impacts them. So I think we should also create other kind of activities that is not just going to a pub and drinking beers. It could be a more, say, a different activity that probably involves everyone.
Yeah, thank you for noting this. I have really experienced this a lot. Yeah. I think that was the last question. I don't see any other questions in the chat right now.
Okay.
So,
Can you
thank
guys
you,
see
Lisa and Leto. Yeah, we can see your screen. Well, that was excellent. Thank you, Lisa and Leto, for asking those amazing questions. Talking about the diversity and inclusion is important, but action matters more. We should actively promote diversity and inclusion, not just at work, but also at industry events, because we have seen, we have just now heard a lot of biases, conscious, unconscious. So that means making sure we are accountable, fostering the conversations about it, making streaming media events inclusive and more supportive for women. JP, thank you so much for being our Ally of the Month and sharing your insights on NAB event as well. Your tips on supporting women at streaming media events are priceless, and hopefully with all these steps, we will see more women participation in the industry events and more allies, male allies coming forward to support them. So let's make sure that this conversation continues so that we create an environment at industry events where women feel valued and included. For our members, more discussions or collaborations with JP, connect with him on LinkedIn. You can also email us at allyship@womeninstreamingmedia.org. I have got exciting news to share with you on our upcoming events. Our monthly member remote meetup is on Thursday, this Thursday, 25th April at 8 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. EST, and 4 p.m. BST. We are hosting a cool workshop by Tech Systems on building your brand. It's extremely important to build your brand in the current situations. So don't miss out this opportunity to learn more. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn or on our website. And don't forget to keep an eye on updates about next Ally of the Month. We are getting more and more allies every month. We have pasted one form in the chat. Your feedback is really important to us. So let us know that what you liked. Where are the places where we can improve by filling out this small form? I promise it's not going to take more than your 2 to 3 minutes. And you can find the link in chat window. Thank you again, JP, for being such an awesome ally. And I want to give a special thanks to Lisa and Leto for conducting such a nice AMA session from our allyship team. Women in Streaming Media is a global network, so please don't hesitate to connect with each other. If you need to know something, if you want to know something, just message us. Our contact details are given there on website, or you can just drop a note on allyship at womeninstreamingmedia.org. Anyone wants to add any more details or anything you want to ask? I'm just quickly checking if any more questions on the chat. No? Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you so much, JP. We really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you all so much. Really honored.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.